Good afternoon. It's a pleasure to be with you this afternoon for our Facebook Live and YouTube Parent Town Hall meeting. We're really glad to be with you, letting us come into your home, your car, at work, wherever you might be this afternoon. We appreciate you joining us. I'd like to take just a few minutes for those that may not have been on our meeting last week, Town Hall meeting, to give you an update as far as what's happening in Dallas County and all the changes with, fortunately, we have a kind of a downward trend right now with COVID cases, which is really a positive. We're very grateful and glad for that. And what's happened over the last few weeks, about 3 weeks ago, we were in the red zone, which was the risk level that Dallas County said, stay home and stay safe. And we've been in that up until about 2 weeks ago. And it went from red to orange. And when it went down to red to orange, then they're saying at that point, we need to proceed with caution, but things are getting better. And so what we announced last week and what we're doing is we're now opening up face-to-face instruction for all of our students at both campuses that will begin on October the 5th, and we'll be opening up to face-to-face instruction. Now, all the parents, all of you were allowed to make a selection back on the 24th of August that you told us which you preferred, face-to-face instruction at the campus or virtual at-home learning. And so we're asking you at this point for you to stay with those commitments unless something has really changed, and we're going to allow you between now and next Monday to be able to go online again, and they'll be putting that link up so that you can go in and be able to, again, make a change if needed, only if it's needed, because something's happened with a circumstance. So far, we're at about 30% of our parents that say they want to bring their children face-to-face, and I'm really glad and happy to finally be able to make that available to all you moms and all you dads, because I know how much a financial burden it is, how much it's been for many of you to have to stay home and or find someone else to take care of your kids and all that's involved with that. And so we're really glad to open up, but we're also glad we're only opening up to about 30% of our student population, because it allows us to have face-to-face instruction while at the same time social distancing in the classrooms, the wearing of masks and all the different things, and allows us also as a organization to be able to make sure that as the year progresses and as hopefully the trend continues to go downward, that we will be able to even allow some of y'all will want to even begin to have your children come at a later date. But I also want to warn you, there's always the chance and always the possibility, especially after Labor Day weekend, that if there's an uptick, and right now we're not seeing that as of a day or two ago, but it could take up to 2 weeks after Labor Day weekend before the trend could begin to shoot up, and all of a sudden we have a lot of infections again. That's exactly what happened after the Memorial Day weekend back at the end of May, going into June. All of a sudden we had that spike. If you remember, we had about 18 days straight of over 1,000 infections. And so since then, we're now down to maybe 100, 120, 125, 30 infections a day now. So you can tell we've really made great progress. So I just want to encourage everyone to continue to do everything you're doing. Continue wearing your mask, social distancing, washing your hands thoroughly many times during the day, and still being safe. I don't want people to think, okay, now we can just go out and do whatever we want. We want that to go down to green, and we're only at orange. We got to go from red, orange, and then yellow to green. And so we're all looking forward to green. We're also looking forward to the date and the time where we're able to get our vaccinations for the COVID-19 virus. When that happens, we hope it happens sooner than later. So I want to encourage everyone to continue to pay attention to that. Plus another little tidbit of information I think that's important. Maybe in the past you've not paid as much attention to flu shots, and we're getting ready to go into our flu season, but they're really recommending that we all get vaccinated this year for the flu and get our flu shots. And so I really want to recommend moms, dads, and all the kids to please go to your either your doctor, or you can go to CVS, you can go to a lot of different places, and they're offering a lot of free shots. Also, Dallas County will provide free shots for you also. And so I just want to encourage you to please make sure you do that, because that's just one less potential infection or something that you or that we even would have to deal with here, because a lot of the symptoms for flu is the same as for COVID, and it's very hard to tell the difference. But I do want to let you know we are going to open up on October the 5th. We're looking forward to that. We're working hard. We've been working hard over the last several weeks trying to make sure we do everything and have everything ready for you when you do come back. And so we've got some special treats for you today. We have different departments that's going to come here. Our principals from both schools are going to be here. We have our director of early childhood who's actually going to come, and we're going to open up in just a minute to allow you to have questions that you might have and some things you'd like to ask the principals. But before we do that, we want to talk to you about our early childhood program. And I think that our little 3- and 4-year-old babies, there's lots of questions about how can we do it at home instruction, or how will my little 3- or 4-year-old be able to wear a mask or wear a shield. There's going to be a lot of questions that many of you have, and I've noticed over the last few weeks, a lot of the questions have been centered around our pre-K program. And so I want to allow Ms. Rojas, who is our Chief Academic Officer, to address you for just a few minutes, and then she'll be introducing our next person.
Thank you, Mr. Brannon. Good afternoon, parents. It's wonderful to be with you again. And we're very excited to share with you these weekly updates. And today, we invited our Director of Early Childhood, MJ Lopez, to join us and to be able to have a conversation with you all. If you have questions, please be sure to send those in so that we can address them. And one of the things before I do invite MJ to address some of the updates regarding early childhood, I just want to reiterate how grateful we are to you for partnering with us, because our greatest goal is for your children to be successful. And so remember that it's so important to get to know your child's teachers, to know the procedures, follow those guidelines that they send, and also to check on the progress of your students. And so all those 3 points right there are key for success. And so I'd like at this time to introduce to you MJ Lopez, our early childhood director, who is with us. And if you have questions, please send those now. And I'm going to allow MJ to give you just a brief update of the things that they're working on in early childhood.
Good afternoon. My name is Maria Jose Lopez, and I am the Director of Early Childhood. We are very excited. Our teachers are working on the implementation of our curriculum. So we're introducing the new units in the classroom, and hopefully your babies are able to visit in the classroom with the teachers while they're live. Early in the morning, and are able to complete the activities that the teachers are taking the time to create for your kids, that are specially designed for their age and according to the themes that we're covering. So thank you for being here.
About what a pre-K 3 and pre-K 4, what they can expect right now at this time of the school year, as we're getting started with a brand new school year for many of them, especially our 3-year-olds. It's new for them. So can you tell us just briefly some things that parents can be on the lookout for?
So our little ones will be receiving lots of read alouds and songs and finger plays that are fun and active. And they are getting, like I said earlier, thematic units that are specially designed for their age level. So the activities are basically designed around a theme that the kids will learn through different activities. So they're all connected. All the activities are connected. So if it's a science activity, if it's a math activity, they're all connected to the main theme. And because that's the way the kids learn, they learn by making connections. So during our first few weeks, our kids are getting used to their teacher, obviously. So we want for them to start developing that relationship with them and to get used to their teacher, because it is a very different way to start the year this year. It's nothing like being face to face. So, but we want our children to get used to their teachers and feel comfortable around them and see their friends' faces, because a lot of our program is designed for them to work on their social emotional skills. So for us to have not the regular start of our school year, that's a very big thing. But we're encouraging our teachers to make sure that they have those activities and modify them, because they're doing it on virtually. But we're still trying to make those connections as our kids are coming into the virtual classrooms, for them to be able to see their friends and for them to make those connections with their teachers, because it's very, very important. So once they come in face to face, they'll have those familiar faces and they won't feel as strange.
Those are excellent points. So this way you're building a foundation, it seems like, right? So when the transition occurs, if they come face to face, they'll be ready because they're used to the teacher and to collaborate.
Yeah, we're trying to make the transition as smoothly as possible for them. So our babies, so they feel that they can do things and that they're independent learners. So one of our main thing is for us to, like I said, that social emotional piece, to develop that social emotional piece, is for them to feel that they can take risks and make mistakes, and it's okay, or that we're going to be feeling different ways every day. Sometimes we're going to be feeling happy, sometimes we're going to be feeling nervous, or sometimes we're going to be feeling sad or scared, and those are completely different, completely normal feelings, but we have to teach our kids how to react when they have those feelings, and if they want to make a friend also, how do they keep a friend? So it's many things that that are around that social emotional development, but it's also the themes that we cover throughout the year. So it's going to be a great school year.
Have any questions come in, Mr. Tequano?
Trouble logging in. I will not want for my son to be counted absent. And I don't know if we can talk a little bit about the attendance policy.
Yes, and thank you for bringing that question up. I'm going to hold off for a minute on answering that, because in just a little bit, you're also going to be able to have a conversation with the principals. You'll hear from them, from both Dr. Miranda and Mrs. Wade, and they will be addressing some specifics in regards to what to follow. But we want to make sure that your child is counted daily. That's for sure. I will tell you that. So more to come on this topic.
Another question, when will school open? Our superintendent was mentioning that if you selected face-to-face, your kid will be able to come back on October 5th, Monday, October 5th. So that's the plan right now. We are seeing trends and getting guidance from the city of Dallas and the county. So October 5th is the day that those who selected face-to-face can come back. I have a question for pre-K. Is face-to-face pre-K 3 only half day?
The plan is to have face-to-face all day once they come in. So our babies would be here the whole instructional day. That I think that would help parents to make the necessary arrangements, especially for work. So if our kids come in, it'll be for the entire school day.
We have a couple of questions that probably are for the principals, if they can.
We'll come back to questions that are specific for principals in just a little bit. I want to, as you're thinking of other questions, I want to ask something to Ms. Lopez, since we have her here right now. And truly, I've seen how dedicated her team is, how much they've been working to make sure the teachers are prepared. They have all the resources they need to help your students succeed. And so why is it important for the little bitty ones who maybe they don't feel like going to school today, or they're 3 years old, and why should they check in every day and participate?
So having that structure for our babies, it's very important, because they really, really need to start getting used to the structure of what the day would look like once they come back. So we highly encourage those parents to help our kids log in and be on the virtual lesson as much as possible. We understand that that their attention span might not be long enough to They don't have that stamina yet to stay focused for a long time. And that's okay, because it's okay at their age. But we're going to do that as they mature and as they go through the school year. They'll grow so much. But at this point, we want the kids to have that structure throughout the day, even if it's virtual, because once they come in face to face, it'll be an easy transition for them and they won't have such a hard time. Sometimes we have them come in, and when they're brand new, we have our criers, or sometimes they get a little fussy. But as they get used to the routine and those procedures, that structure, they become really independent. And that's something that is our goal. So that is why it's so important for us to start, even if we're at home, trying for them to get adjusted to a bit of that structure. It's not exactly what it looks like once we're here at school, but it does help a lot. It will help definitely for our teachers. It'll be a smooth transition, not only for our children, but for our teachers too.
Very important then, parents, let's remember that. To encourage your kids, even if they don't want to participate, and also make it very positive, because you're building a strong foundation, and that foundation builds on itself. And so we don't want any of our kids not to be ready for school. And so school has started. When people ask and they go, when does school begin? Is it October 5th? School began September the 8th. And teachers are on track. They're preparing lessons. We have many who work very late into the evening hours preparing for your students. And so don't let your kids miss out on the instruction. The school has started, and we don't want anyone falling behind. So please continue to join us. And I want to thank Ms. Lopez for being here, and for you to get to know her as well. And what we're going to do is that we're going to have her available so that you can, in other occasions, also reach out. Recently, the last 2 weeks, she had a pre-K orientation, English and Spanish sessions. I hope you were able to attend. And then we also held this week a dual language orientation for the new year. And so there will be more opportunities for you to hear from Ms. Lopez and to learn about the programs, because we know that the partnership with you is what matters, and that's what is key for the success of your child. Are there any other questions, Mr. Tuckwell?
We have one that says, can I enroll my 3-year-old when face-to-face school starts? Right now, I believe the classes are full.
If we have the space in the classroom, depending on the number of students in our rosters, if we have the space, yes, absolutely. But at this point, I believe, I don't know if our classes are completely full, but if there is a space, yes, absolutely.
Okay. We have some more questions for principals and general questions.
Okay. At this time, parents, what we're going to do is that we're going to transition, and we'll be revisit. If you have other questions, though, for pre-K or early childhood, please send those in. But right now, we're going to transition and invite the principals, Dr. Miranda of East Grand Preparatory and Mrs. Wade of Bugner Preparatory, to join us.
In the meantime, let me answer some general questions. What is the uniform policy? Both schools have uniforms and dress codes ready, but if you have not, if you have missed some of the other town halls, and if you have not been able to go into the FAQ section of our website, the superintendent put a waiver on uniforms, understanding that many families may have been going through financial problems due to COVID. So there is a moratorium on the enforcement of uniforms until the second semester, meaning you don't have to use the official uniform until January. Now, if you can't get the uniform, if you already have the uniform, you're encouraged to use it every day. But right now, there's a moratorium on that. So that is the current policy. We have another one related to the dual language meeting. Ms. Rojas, they're asking that they missed the dual language meeting, and if there's any way to watch it again. The meeting has been recorded, and it will be posted on the website very soon, so you can watch it. And we're scheduling more meetings because we know that that has brought a lot of attention from parents and families. Okay, my child is in 1E, and we have had technical difficulties and have not been able to log into Zoom. We have called the school and texted the teacher and haven't had no response. This live meeting comes across as all things are smooth and it's not. Please help. Teacher is Miss Kennedy. I'm gonna let Miss Dr. Miranda, I'm assuming 1E is Buckner for the, I'm sorry, EGP. We know that there has been issues and we've fixed plenty of those and we continue working on those, but we need to identify if this is a specific issue with your son. But Dr. Miranda, if you want to answer to this parent.
Well, good afternoon. First of all, I want to thank you for taking the time and being here. I want to say that you're doing an amazing job because you became a parent and a teacher from one day to the next. So continue doing an amazing job, and we're here to support you. In regards of the question, we have teachers that are still working on, just like we all, this is new to some of us. So they're still working on how to connect. We do have some mornings issues with the Zoom or with the Google Classroom. If it's not like a general thing, if you feel like it's more of just a specific teacher, I will talk to her today and see what she can tell me. What is it that is going on in their classroom?
And parents, if you're typing your questions, please try to identify the campus so we can address it correctly. I have one for Buckner. My son goes to Buckner Prep and he's in kindergarten. The Zoom meetings, there has been struggle due to technical problems or some kids not muting their screen. Also, he has 3 different classes to switch to, and by lunch, he's not really resting the information. I don't understand the last part, but.
Good afternoon. Thank you, Buckner Preparatory parents, for tuning in today. Very good question. We want to make sure that we kept the schedule as similar to what they would see if they were coming to school October 5th. So I'm not really sure particularly what the specific issue is. We will definitely check in with the teacher to see exactly what the issue may be with that particular student. But if there is a technical issue, please reach out to your child's teacher. And you can also reach out to myself, and we'll definitely try to talk you through any of those technical issues. If it's something that's a little bit more advanced, we'll definitely get with our IT team, and they will walk us through whatever technical issue it may be. Your child may be switching from their main classroom to maybe their specials class, which would probably be PE or technology. So that may be the reason they're switching, because they have PE on certain days and they're also doing a technology class on certain days. And this is a new format, particularly for kindergarten students. Our kindergarten students are coming up from pre-K 4 last year, if they were with us last year. And so there wasn't a lot of use with computers. They had tablets. And so we're making that adjustment from a touch screen to actually using a keyboard. And so we are working with those kindergarten students and making sure they're able to utilize the computer, being able to touch, being able to utilize the trackpad. And so that's why we're utilizing that technology class to help them typing and to be able to communicate in that format. So if you will bear with us just a little bit longer, rest assured that your child will become more independent with more practice, and as they get used to this format, because we'll continue this format even in our face-to-face time period. They'll still be using a computer. But please be very patient with us and be patient with your child as they're getting used to using a computer, and be independent learners. But definitely reach out to their child's teacher and to myself, and we'll definitely get that addressed for you.
Okay. My child's hotspot device does not work. Who do I contact? First person to contact is please call the T-Mobile phone number in the back of the device. That's the first line of technical support for hotspot devices. If they cannot solve your problem, or if they troubleshoot on their side and they say everything is working on that part, contact your teacher so we can see if there's any other problems maybe with the Chromebook. I want to remind you all parents, if you go to our website and you will go to the student section and then at home learning, we have a couple of videos. There's at least 3 videos with technical details on how to connect to Clever, to Google Classroom, how to use your Chromebook. So take a look at those videos as well. And we're planning to post more if we detect that there's a specific need. But please take a look at that, at those videos on our website as well, please. My son still doesn't have a dyslexia teacher. They already grading. How will he be graded if he hasn't had his accommodations? And there's no specific campus, but I don't know. That a student has used to have a dyslexia teacher or has had dyslexia teacher. This for East Grant, they already grading and they want to know how is he going to be graded if he hasn't had his accommodations.
Right now, they are working, tell them that we will address the question, we're going to follow up with a parent. We'll be following up with a parent, but we do have a speech therapist that's working on a schedule right now.
Okay. We were going to follow up directly with you parents, and we're going to take your information for that one. We have a speech therapist that is already working on schedule to work with all the kids that need dyslexia and other services. So we're gonna connect to you directly. And as you know, we will get your information through the chat or the comment section in whatever channel you're contacting us through, and we'll have that result for you. Is technical support available? 80% of the day there's glitching. Can't understand what the teacher is saying. Sometimes there is no sound at all. Again, we do have a technical support here. They're mainly supporting all the teachers, making sure that the technology outside to all of your houses is working correctly. Reach out to them. If there is no response, please let the principals know. I don't have a campus for this one, but please let the principals know. We need to understand and identify if this is an internal problem, or maybe you may have a slower connection, or there's something else there. But there are some steps that we need to follow, and please let the teacher know that you're having this problem, especially 80% of the time. How do you go about changing to do in person from virtual learning? And we have another one that is, what will be the start date for kids if we want them to start face-to-face after the 9-week commitment for virtual? So I want to start with I'm going to get the dates in a minute, but remember, parents, you already selected if you want your kid to be face-to-face or if you want to be virtual. That selection will be honored coming October 5th. So if you had already selected to come to school, you can come back when we open on October 5th. Everybody else that selected virtual will continue doing virtual. Now, 2 weeks before the next 9-week period starts, we're going to allow you again to take the survey similar to the one you took over the summer to decide, do I want to continue in virtual or do I want to go to face-to-face, and vice versa? Do I want to continue face-to-face or no, I think I want to go to virtual. This will happen at the next 9 weeks. And the first day of the next 9 weeks is November 9th. So 2 weeks before that, you will receive, you'll have the opportunity to fill again the survey and decide if you want to keep whatever program you selected before, or if you want to switch and select. And we're asking for 2 weeks because whatever way you're trying to move, we need to prepare for maybe more kids here on campus. We will have to prepare our school and our classrooms, all the preparations that we've been making. We're going to make sure that we continue making sure that all of the numbers of kids in classrooms and everything keeps the right level to keep everybody safe if you decide to come back. I think that was that. Okay. I have not had any communication with Ms. Johnson. Is she still the East Grand counselor? I have a question. Okay. Ms. Johnson is the special ed teacher, coordinator. So I know that's what they're referring to. She's not a counselor. She's the special ed coordinator. And she's still here, and I don't know.
Yes, so if you need to contact Ms. Johnson, which is the SPED coordinator, if you have questions about dyslexia, speech, or all those services, she is still here. If you have had communication with her before, go ahead, feel free to email her. If you don't have her email address, just call the office or call me. I can give you or connect you to her. If you have already emailed her and you have not heard from her, then definitely give us a call, please.
We have a question about Chromebooks. Can we connect to printers? There is a way to do that inside the school. I'll take your question and try to get an answer from IT team. Let me see if in the meantime we can get something like that. Where can pre-K students go face to face? Again, if you select that, you can go back on October 5th. If you want to change, you're going to have the opportunity to change for the second 9 weeks, as we mentioned before. How do we know if our child is getting counted present for the day? Because sometimes the teacher does not respond back when letting the teacher know we are having technical issues. My son goes to Buckner Prep. Thanks.
Thank you for the question. So, yes, we are taking attendance. Attendance is critical, and as you know, attendance matters and it counts. So, if your child is not responding, the teachers are taking attendance, and they're seeing who is enrolled or during that time who's engaged. They're also looking at the submission of the classwork or the submission of the work that's being submitted as a way to guide, engage their attendance. Again, if you're not getting contacted back by the teacher, please email me and feel free to call our front office so that we can get that taken care of as well.
We have another parent saying that they missed the first part of the meeting. When is the anticipated date of face-to-face to begin? If you selected face-to-face, we're anticipating that you can come back on October 5th. If you have selected virtual and you're planning to change your decision, you're going to have the opportunity to change that decision for November. Another question. Thank you for advising us on the technical difficulty. This is for EGP. We are all aware of. However, this is something that has been told us before, and nothing gets resolved as previously advised. The problem, I guess, with technical issues is not technical, but this allows the child to become disinterested and creates a larger issue. If Mrs. Kennedy will put out all daily work in Google Classroom, I can teach my child without Zoom and turn in assignments as we did last year, because this is frustrating. Before I pass the microphone, we want to acknowledge that there has been issues. Some of those issues go even beyond the control of the school. We have received over the last weeks, because of every student in America basically is doing this, Google has been down, Zoom has been down, so there's some technical issues beyond even our control. But I'm gonna let Dr. Miranda to answer about Ms. Kennedy.
Yes, so thank you again about Ms. Kennedy's class. I will go and meet with her and provide more support to see what is it that is going on. I'm not sure if this is another parent or is the same parent, but definitely you're letting me know that there's something there that I need to go and address with the teacher. So thank you.
Other than here, where should we submit the questions for you all to answer? The best way to do it is contacting your front office. They can direct you to principals if you need to talk to them. We understand in here we're getting all kinds of questions. That's why we have the principals today. That's why we have the early childhood director. There's some questions that we might not have an immediate answer, and we'll look for that answer for you. But if you know that something can be addressed at the school level, you please contact your campus office. Okay, what's going to happen if the child doesn't do anything until November 9th, since we don't have the option to send them back to school until the 9 weeks is over? This Zoom is not working. A 5-year-old should not have to be on the computer from 8 a.m. to 3 p.m. As far as I know, they're not on the computer from the whole time, but it's 5-year-olds, so.
So yes, our schedule does mimic what it would look like. It's an abbreviated schedule right now because we are doing virtual instruction. So there are some components that will mimic what they would see if they came back face-to-face. For instance, our math instruction, our reading instruction, and of course they'll have their science and social studies embedded. Our students also attend special classes, so while they also are getting content instructional pieces, they're also getting those much-needed state-mandated courses like PE, and they're also getting some technical instruction from our technology teacher at BP. We have built-in brain breaks So every grade level and every grade level schedule, there are brain breaks built in for students to stand up and stretch. We built in some SEL components into the schedule as well, for our teachers to build those relational foundations with our students. So we have adjusted the schedule to the very best of our ability, and making sure that we do include those brain breaks. We include those times where the teachers can stop, engage, and see where their kids are, because the teachers know their kids and know it's time for us to take a break, let's step away, let's do this. And so we are encouraging our teachers to continue to do those things, but just know that those are built into our schedule. And the additional time they're having with PE and specials, those are beneficial times for them as well.
I have an answer from a previous question regarding Chromebooks and printers. You can add a printer to your in your house. The only thing you need to make sure is that that printer needs to be on the same Wi-Fi as the Chromebook. We cannot give you instructions specifically on how to do it, because we don't know the model of your printer. There's tons of models out there. Probably the easiest way is the website from your manufacturers. There's should be plenty of instructions there. But yes, you can add a printer to a Chromebook, but they need to be in the same Wi-Fi. I have 2 children. How can they submit their work and make it easy for me as a parent to set an organized list? I am very supportive, but some of this virtual scheduling can be hard for parents. To add to my question, my children are in 1st and 3rd grade. It is hard for those with smaller children. They don't say what campus.
So since you have one in 1st and 3rd, I think the question will be, or I will refer you to the teacher, because I want to say, I can tell you one thing and I can say submit it here, but the teachers have different ways of getting the homework back. Of course, the 1st grader is going to look completely different than the 3rd grade. So ask the teacher, what is it that they're using? Are they sending you to post it back on the Google Classroom? Are they telling you to email it? What is it that they're doing? And of course, we want to make it easier for you. So if you talk to the teacher and explain the situation, I'm pretty sure they will find something, a better solution or easier solution for you.
Another question. At this point, everyone had to do virtual learning. It was just decided to do today that the schools are opening back up. So why do you have to wait to send them back? Nothing is being learned on Zoom. It has not been decided today. We've announced that October 5th is the next is when we're going to open face-to-face for those who selected that. We let you know several weeks ago that was going to be the case for 4 weeks. We're just confirming that now, and we said at that point, and the superintendent has tried to be clear on this, we don't make the decisions per se. We just have to follow the guidance that the health department from Dallas County and Judge Jenkins from Dallas County are providing to us. We follow that, and as you can see with different districts in the area that are kind of following the same plans. When those ARD 504 start, are those classes being scheduled? I'm not sure if those are classes or more like.
So if your student is receiving special student services through 504 or special ed or dyslexia or speech, based on their IEP or their 504 plan, those services have already been implemented. Once the school day began, teachers were provided with their IEP plan or their 504 plan. And so those accommodations or modifications have been implemented with their particular teacher. So if you believe your child has not been receiving those services, please reach out to myself or either Dr. Miranda. I'm not sure what campus, if it's EGP or BP, but yeah, feel free to reach out to either one of us and we'll make sure that those services begin for that student.
And if you're referring to, when you said art classes, if you're referring to an art meeting or a 504 meeting, those are held annually. So if your child had one last year in April, then the next one will be in April, unless, of course, you can request one at any time. But we're not going to have, art meetings do not happen at the beginning of the school year every year. It just happens depending on when it landed for an annual art.
those are all the questions we have so far. If you want to send more, just make sure that you let us know what campus are you talking about.
Well, first I want to thank all both the principals for everything they're doing, and we want to continue to make this time available. One of the things that makes this really helpful is it allows us to see what some of the issues or problems may be, and that we can go back to the campuses and be able to address those. I do want to thank each of you. I think it's a time that all of us are doing all that we possibly can, whether we're at home trying to help our children, whether it's someone that you've assigned to take care of your child that's trying to help them when maybe you're at work or away. All those that are involved with that, right now it is a difficult time, and we're not the only school or organization that is trying to get through all the hurdles and everything that has to be done. And just like it was said a little bit earlier, there's a lot of issues outside our control, but everything that is within our control we want to do. I think we also have to, all of us have to be really flexible and also be able to give ourselves some grace to realize that it's not going to be perfect because we're not in a perfect situation right now. Even as we come back to school, all parents are not going to want their children back here. But I think the reason we're going to continue to do this, we want to continue to be as transparent as we can be, and also be able to allow you to continue to bring questions and concerns that you may have. I do want to encourage you, please contact the offices or contact the teacher if you've got any questions or problems that seem to persist, and we will follow up with those things. Ms. Rojas, could you address or talk a little bit, in a little bit of time we have left, about the schedule and how they're trying to manage that schedule and all the different things that were coming out and some things that you might be able to add that could help?
Absolutely. And so parents, it is a new day in learning, isn't it? And when we think of the schedules that we've been used to, those were easy to follow because they happened at the school setting and they were pretty much the same thing every year. But now that we have this new adjustment of at-home virtual learning, we want to make sure that the schedule works for all of us. At first, of course, it's kind of bumpy, right? We're all getting used to managing it. And for you all, I really appreciate the hard work that you're doing on your part, because many of you have children of different age groups. I remember when I had kids, my kids are older now, but at one time I had kids, one in pre-K, one in elementary, one in middle, and one in high school. So they were all over the place. So I know how much of a juggle it can be. And so when Mr. Brandon talked about being flexible, that's really important. And to know that we're here to work with you and to make sure that the schedule is something that you can work with. The most important thing is the support you give your child in making it a positive experience. If there's any glitches, and glitches happen very often, that's okay, because there's support, and we'll get them back on track. It's also important that you keep track of the progress, and so the teachers, they set the procedures, they have the learning activities. Some activities are guided. Right, so you have guided practice with a teacher, and then other times it's independent work. And so it's important to follow the schedule the teacher provides for your student, so that you know when they need to be connected through Zoom and when they need to be doing independent work. And so there's a lot there, Mr. Brandon, in regards to adjustments, but we have been so impressed with the level of support from the families and the positive feedback that we're receiving.
And we want to continue to thank you for that. It's another real interesting fact. All the communication that you have with your teachers and the teachers have with you goes through an app or a software program called School Status. And School Status keeps up with all the contacts. And as of right now, since we opened school, there's been over 55,000, literally 55,000 contacts back and forth between you and our teachers to you. And so we know that there's a lot of communication going on, and with that many pieces of communication, there's going to be glitches, there's going to be some problems, But we monitor that because I want to make sure that we're doing everything that we can to stay in touch with you, whether it be your teacher, be our local office, our principals, and or even our administrative staff. So every time we come to you over the next few weeks, we're going to take back with us some of the things that you've shared, whether it's specific and things we can follow up on. Our principals will do that. And we'll continue to make all the changes and improvements that we need to do and continue to work with any IT problems or whatever. If any of you ever worked in IT or worked with IT or been around it much, one thing I have learned when it comes to computers, internet, software, networks, all those sorts of things, they all sometimes have a tendency to break at times. And just recently at my home, for instance, I'm working remotely, having meetings all day long, and been doing that now for months, for the last 5 or 6 months. And over the last week or so, I've had about 3 different times where my meetings have just gone completely out. My internet's gone out. Don't know why it went out. I had to go back and reboot it. It came back on, and then within 10 or 15 minutes later, it's gone again. And you know what? I'm not an IT person just like you. And so, yes, it's frustrating, but there's just, what I'm having to do is I'm going to have to go back and find out from my provider, do I need to do an update on my modem, or do I need to get a new modem, or what do I need to do? And you would think because I'm superintendent, I would have all the answers and or I would have everybody at my house fixing that. But I'm telling you, I'm just like you. And it was a little frustrating, but we were able to finish the meeting. I was able to do that. So all of us are challenged, but please give yourselves grace and also allow that for your children and give them that too. We're all making the best we can. There is nothing, we would much more prefer that we were not in this situation and we were allowed all your children to be here. And the reason that we have taken this 4-week pause, and the reason we've done that where we're doing remote right now and not having any in-classroom instruction or face-to-face instruction is because we are following the guidance of the Dallas County Health Department. And we want to make sure that we don't do anything that's going to impact the community and spread the infection of COVID-19, and all of a sudden we see these things back. The only way that we're going to get back to where we get to have school, which we all love, our teachers wish that all your children were here right now. And I know that your children want to be here right now. I know you want your children here right now. But the only way we're going to get there is if we continue to do everything that we can to be safe, follow everything we can do, and as hopefully the trend continues to go down, more of you will be able to join us, and hopefully before this school year is up, we'll be able to all return back to school. But I do want to let those parents that are concerned about their children coming back, you will be able to do remote instruction for the entire year if you choose that, regardless of what the health department says, because we believe that you know what's best for your children and you need to make the best choice for them. So we will allow you for the rest of this year, if you choose, to do remote instruction regardless of the guidelines we get or if we open up to more children or whatever. So I just want to thank you again for this time to come into your home. We appreciate you letting us do that. And we'll be back with you the same time next week at 2 o'clock, Facebook Live, YouTube, our parent town hall. And we look forward to meeting you and speaking with you again then. Bless you. We'll see you then.